Good morning. This is a 2008 Dodge Ram 1500. It says the 4.7 in it. So yesterday I started working on this and I put a new compressor on. I didn't take a video of this, so I'll walk through real quick. There's one 13mm bolt down here. You take the two 13mm nuts off. You have a 15mm bolt there, and then on the opposite side it's a 15mm bolt. Then your tensioner here is a 15mm bolt that's back behind this area here. The pulley goes that direction to remove tension. The compressor just comes right out of there. It's super simple. Anyways, I put the compressor on, I pulled a vacuum and vacuumed properly, recharged the system after putting my PAG oil in and my Freon, or refrigerant, sorry, it's not Freon anymore. Ran the system, and the high side went up to 450 psi, and I knew instantly I had a problem. Evacuated the system and went to find my orifice tube, see if it was clogged up. Well, there is no orifice tube in this thing. It should be right here, and it's not in there. You can tell that there's supposed to be an orifice tube for the step up here, the step down, and then the ridge. There wouldn't be one in that one because that would be a massive orifice tube, but I took it off just to see if someone put it somewhere they shouldn't have. There's not one in the other side of this, on the high side, but this would be where it's at. That's in the inner fender. You have to take out the air box bracket. You have to get rid of the air box too, of course. If it's a 2500, I think that it's going to be similar, but you have a battery tray over here instead. These are an absolute bear to get out of there as well. And we're replacing the condenser. As you can see, there's a void there. To get the condenser out, it's super simple as well. You remove the fuse box, not all the way. You have two bolts here that hold, three bolts here. 1, 2, and 3, at least on this one. And then disconnect your fan and pull the whole thing out the top. Houston ways, I had a phone call, so I had to stop for a second. The lines, of course, have to come off of there as well, and those are 13mm, just like the AC compressor was. So you do the wiggle dance. Fight with a little bit of a wiring harness issue because this mounts down at the bottom, and if it weren't for this being mounted down there and then this, it would come right up and you could unplug this from being out of the engine bay. But you have to have a flathead screwdriver, a little small one, because this gap right here is very small when it's plugged into the cooling fan. So essentially you can do this job with 15mm wrench or a short socket and a ratchet. You need a 13mm socket and a 10mm socket, and then some line disconnects and a flathead screwdriver. Vacuum pump, of course. And there's two different sizes of belts on this thing. It's either going to be an 888 or a 990. Or 890. This is an 890. The 888 probably would have gone on there. It was just, I didn't want to fight with it. So the 890 is there. Going back together is just as quick as coming apart, except for that spot over there, and I really hope that it goes back together with ease. Make sure to change your O-rings while you're there. That way you don't have to worry about any leaky. If you're deciding to take this to a mechanic shop, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be expensive, even though it's a very easy job. Lastly, this engine is the year newer than mine. Mine's on the other side of that Tahoe over there. Mine's a 2002. It's a second gen, and this is a third gen. This has 16 sparkulators. So you have the ignition coils, and there's sparkulators up under there, and then you have this wire that goes down. That's intake spark plug, exhaust spark plug. And yes, you have to change them all. That may be a job for this truck in the near future, so I'll be sure to record it as well. If you found this video helpful, consider liking, subscribing. I try to put out videos as often as possible, but it doesn't always work out that way. Thanks for watching.